March to Freedom, day 25. Welcome back to Dudes Ascend, where we talk about how to elevate ourselves as men. My name is Hamilton, and we are on day 25 of our March to Freedom from Porn challenge. Today, I want to talk about having a plan. Make a plan for success, or else, without a plan, you are planning to fail. In today's video, I'm going to talk about 2 simple ways that you can plan for success for yourself in recovery from porn addiction. And without further ado, let's get into it. Actually, a bit of ado. I want you to do this, which is click the subscribe button below and subscribe to this channel to help this channel grow, to help me help more people suffering from this addiction, because I think if you are here, you probably are aware that there are many people struggling with porn addiction right now, especially with the pandemic and everything that has been going on in the past couple years, rising people's stress levels to unprecedented levels, right? And a lot of people being more isolated than ever during that time. It's a real issue right now, and I want to help as many people as possible. So subscribing to the channel, liking, watching the video all the way through, and I also want you guys to comment below. Comment and tell me what things would you like to hear me talk about, what men's issues feel like you want to hear my thoughts on, or as it relates to porn addiction or whatever. What are some topics that you might have questions on, or that you just want to see me discuss on here. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. What are 2 ways to really help yourself plan for success? One really simple one, I believe, is writing out a to-do list for yourself for the day, every day. I recommend doing this when you are going to bed at night. Write out your plan for the next day, and do this every day. And plan out, what is your morning routine going to be? Are you going to wake up, meditate, exercise? What are things you're going to be working on during the day? If there's a project that you got going on, what specific parts of the project are you going to get done the next day? And give yourself a list of things. This list is your plan for success. It is the things, a lot of times, if you're only focusing on, I'm not watching porn, I'm not going to watch porn, right? You're still kind of focusing on watching porn in a way, and it becomes still like the focus, and it creates more of that internal struggle, tug of war. But it can be really powerful to focus on the things that you are going to do, the things that you are going to spend your time doing. And also, when you have that list, one thing I really like about it is, one, it's something to reach for. Gives you a list of things to do, to reach for, rather than reaching for the old addictions, the old patterns. And it's something that you can refer back to throughout the day. And when you get little things done, okay, I did my meditation, I did my exercise, and you get to scratch that thing off your list, there's something very satisfying about that too. I believe that it gives you the same kind of little dopamine hit of yes, accomplishment, did that, boom, it's done. That our phones and things give us when there's a notification or whatever. And I don't know, I don't have any research or evidence to back that up, but I know for me it feels really satisfying and good to see myself scratching things off my list and feeling okay, I'm taking good steps, I'm making good progress, I'm doing things, taking good action in my life. So that's one way. Have a daily to-do list. Have your plan for the day, or else, like I said, you're planning to fail. We don't want to do that. The second thing is to make specific plans for how you're going to deal with triggers. Right? I've talked a lot about how to identify triggers. Yesterday I was talking about a great app, Fortify, that really starts to build a comprehensive picture of when your slips are happening, what emotions you're feeling during those slips, and you get to journal each day on your daily tracker, what happened that day, what happened leading up to it, Was there something you were stressing about, or some kind of like argument or whatever you had? But if you know, like for me, for example, a couple days ago, I had a therapy session with my wife that we were doing remotely because I'm in Virginia right now. She's down in Georgia. But we are doing some couples counseling together before we reconnect next week, and just to work through some issues with some support. And I knew that one of my last slips that had happened during this month was right after a therapy session that I had. And I was noticing, okay, it's obvious that like this therapy is bringing up some heavy emotions. It's making me feel those emotions and process them and go through them, and that is an obvious trigger for me, like sadness, being upset, being angry, things like that. Like that's when I'm in that state, that's a state that it's much more likely for me to reach for the self-soothing old pattern, right? So I had found myself doing that, and I noticed, okay, I had a slip like right after my therapy session. So going into this therapy session a couple days ago, I knew, okay, what I'm gonna do is sandwich that session with very positive, grounding, emotionally stabilizing, calming activities. So what I did right before the therapy session was starting, I did about a 15-minute meditation leading right up to it to get myself into a calm, relaxed, like peaceful state going into it. And then right after this therapy session was done, I turned off the Zoom, and went right outside and took a walk. Took about a 20-minute walk, got a little bit of exercise, got some sun. It was a nice day, nice weather, and just did some breathing exercises and a little bit of like affirmations and prayer like while I was walking. And when I came back from that walk, I was just realizing, wow, it's a really nice day. Like the sun is out. I'm feeling a little bit more calmed down from my walk. So I just grabbed my book and I sat outside, got a chair, and just sat out in the sun and read my book for a good 20 or 30 minutes and just soaking in the sun. And again, it was like the book is kind of like an escape. It's a really good book. It's like this fantasy series that I'm reading. It's the third one in a trilogy, and I just can get lost in that, but while getting some good sun and getting my feet in the ground. And by the time I had finished with that and I came inside, like I had zero urges for porn. I had no desire to reach for that, or wasn't even thinking about it, because I was feeling so calm and relaxed and good, and like I had processed some good emotions, like allowed myself to feel it in the therapy and everything. But I also sandwiched that emotional activity with things that I knew are calming and relaxing for me. So that's a really good strategy, as you start to identify your triggers, figure out what can you do to calm yourself leading up to that, and what can you do afterwards to bring yourself back down to ground, back down to earth. Good to have those plans. So think about what your triggers are. Is it when you come home from work and you have the house to yourself? I'm pausing for the wind. Is it when you come home from work and maybe you have the house to yourself for a couple hours and you feel that high, you feel that opportunity, right? Ooh, it's exciting. I have an opportunity to act out with porn. Maybe a strategy for that is, as you're driving home, listening to some really relaxing music or inspirational talks on YouTube or something. Good time to watch one of my videos, or let it play while you're driving in the car. And then when you get home, maybe set that timer for yourself. Like in one of my videos, I suggested how you can set a timer to just kind of do nothing, like keep all technology away, all distraction away, and just sit sort of and contemplate and watch your thoughts for about 30 to 40 minutes, with the idea that our brains tire themselves out of trying to convince you to do something after about 45 minutes. It gets bored of trying to convince you to follow this urge, and usually it'll pass. So maybe that's one strategy you could use for that. Or if you notice that anger, when you get angry and you get in an argument, have a plan for, arguments happen and people trigger us in life and piss us off, and that's just going to happen from time to time. So what is your plan? What is your plan of action for de-escalating your anger? Like I started years ago, when my wife and I were like living in a studio apartment, and just realizing like I don't want to stay stuck in this small space and be yelling at each other if we're getting to that escalated point of anger. So something that was effective for me, that I would just, if I could feel my anger getting to that point where I felt like I wanted to raise my voice or yell or curse, I would just go take a walk. Sometimes just take a walk around the block, just to like calm, get some breathing, move your body a little bit, and then you can come back to life or whatever the situation is at hand and deal with it from a more centered place. But the whole point is to give yourself these kinds of activities to go to that are going to be your new go-tos, rather than just escaping and hitting the off switch and lusting out and pornography, which is something that doesn't help any of those things. It actually, you just like escape from it for a while, and then you come back to life and the problem is still there, but you're just less equipped to deal with it. Your brain is scattered, you're feeling shame and guilt and regret from relapsing, and it's just not good. So you gotta have those plans, man. Those are my thoughts for the day. I hope this audio is not too messed up. It's getting pretty windy out here, but I am just sending you guys much encouragement as always on day 25. We'll have 5 more days after this for our March to Freedom from Porn Challenge. Pat yourself on the back if you've made it this far. Pat yourself on the back again if you've had a few slips maybe this month, but you're still committing to it and you're still showing up and watching these videos every day and trying to improve each day, and you're taking notes. And maybe you didn't have complete success this month, but you've had a much better month than the previous one. That's the point of this. Progress, not perfection. I think you guys are awesome. Again, subscribe to the channel if you think these videos are awesome and you're getting a lot out of it. And I will see you guys tomorrow on day 26. Peace.